Hi guys. Today I'm coming at you guys with a couple of stories out of Montana. Um, Apparently, a California man who admitted to trafficking methamphetamine after law enforcement officers found uh, 8 kilograms, which is 17 and almost a little bit over 17 and a half pounds of actual pure meth. Pure is a key word that has a lot to do with your actual sentencing. Of the purity of the actual substance makes a big factor actually of your contraband. This actual 31-year-old male was actually he was the actual plug. He was a plug, but his downfall was somebody had led police to his identity and his reasons to traveling to actually to Billings. So they already had an eye on him when they actually identified him as the actual plug for certain drug street level dealers, and he um, straight got it from directly from Mexico, transported it through the border, and drove it up himself to the Montana area. You know, and law enforcement actually knew about a shipment in March 2019 coming in from Mexico to Billings of meth, and after through some surveillances, they saw a vehicle with California plates registered to this actual 31-year-old pull into a Billings hotel. He was known to law enforcement as having been involved in meth trafficking in the area. Later that evening, officers conducted a traffic stop of the vehicle. This actual individual did not give consent to actually search. Therefore, they impounded the actual vehicle until they acquired a search warrant. Um, After they acquired a search warrant, they actually searched the vehicle and found 19 bundles of meth concealed throughout the actual vehicle. And it was 17.6 pounds of pure meth. And he received 6 years for this. And and apparently he was dropping off some weight, so he had 17 pounds on him. So he already had that sold. So he'll also have to do 5 years supervised release. And on another actual note, the FBI is actually warning on actual residents of Montana to actually to be aware that there are scams coming into via telephone, and they were able to trace uh, a, f- quite a few of actual calls to actual Tijuana cartel, no, actually Mexican cartel roots. You know, um, they just wanted to warn the public about virtual kidnapping scams and variations of types of this type of scams targeting families in western Montana. And so basically, they receive reports of victims getting calls from scammers claiming to have kidnapped their loved ones and threaten to harm them unless a ransom is paid. No one is physically kidnapped in the schemes, but are often traumatic for everyone involved. Many of these calls originate originate from Mexico. In one case, the actual the scammers called an actual father and letting him aware that his son was actually in danger and defrauded him out of thousands of dollars. In another case, criminal targeted women whose daughter was reported missing earlier this year. They used phishing techniques and information from social media posts to try to convince the woman that the teen was in immediate danger and that a ransom needed to be paid for her safe return. The woman did not pay the ransom. And so they typically involve an individual or criminal organization who contact a victim via phone and demand payments for the return of their kidnapped family members or friends. While no actual kidnapping has taken place, the callers are often used non-conspirators to co-conspirators to convince their victims of the legitimacy of the actual threat. Callers sometimes represent themselves as members of drug cartels or corrupt law enforcement, who typically provide the victim with specific instructions to ensure safe return of the alleged kidnapped individual. These instructions usually involve demands of ransom payments. Most schemes use various techniques to install to instill a sense of fear, panic, and urgency in an effort to rush the victim into making a very hasty decision. Instructions usually require the ransom payment to be made immediately and typically by wire transfer. So, they just basically, you're looking at Western Union or uh, what's the other one? I forget what the other one's called. They just want that money fast and with a little bit of paper trail as possible. So, they use burner phone and such things. And, and they just, you have to be careful because even though you think that you won't fall for these scams, and I've known people, especially my brother-in-law. He's an actual uh, he was raised in East LA, lives in TJ now, and they got him out of bed on a Sunday night, headed towards the corner mart to buy a calling card for some kind of phone out of a prison. So I mean, the actual the corner market, the actual like a 7-Eleven type, she convinced him not to actually purchase the calling card. That's how much they convinced my brother-in-law to actually to purchase them for them. And they're good at these actual schemes. So um, just be aware and know your surroundings and actually don't give them more information that they already have because they'll use that against you, believe it or not. Okay, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe.